welcome to the Sous Chef kitchen, where today we're joined by Helen Go, pastry chef and food writer, who's celebrating the publication of her first solo book, Baking and the Meaning of Life. Helen, what are we cooking today?
I absolutely love galettes, and there are so many different ways of making them. So I'm going to show one savory galette, which is one big round one, and individual sweet galettes as well with apricots and chrysanthemum. So I'm going to start with the pastry for the apricot galettes. I love this pastry because it has cream cheese in it.
Lovely.
And the cream cheese just gives it that elasticity. The apricot tarts are flavoured with chrysanthemum. I often think that chamomile goes so well with apricots. And then that got me thinking, actually, I don't drink chamomile tea, but I love chrysanthemum tea, which are these flowers here. It's kind of Asian, I guess. It's sort of an Asian chamomile, I would say.
The smell is quite similar, isn't it?
It is similar, and it's just got this kind of honey tone that I think really brings out apricots.
Really beautiful.
So I've weighed this up. I'm going to make a frangipani cream in a minute. So with the pastry, I'm just going to do it really quickly in the food processor. So I've got plain flour, I've got salt, a bit of baking powder. It just gives that pastry a little bit of lightness. I'm just going to combine them. Just pulse a little. That's enough, it's just to bring them together. Then I'm going to add butter.
So very cold butter, is it, for this one?
Cold is good because you don't want it clumping. You want a very light pastry. I just want to get it a sort of crumbly texture. Okay. You don't want it to come together in the blender. You want it to come together with your hands.
Right, okay.
Okay, and now I want to add the cream cheese.
And just sort of normal supermarket cream cheese, is that?
Yeah, I use Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's easy to get and, it does the job. Pulsing for me is just a safe way that you don't over-process it.
Right, okay.
Because when you over-process pastry, it becomes tough.
Okay.
And you want light. So that's looking really good. It's kind of crumbly. And you can see, I can't see any big lumps of cream cheese or butter. And then to bring it all together, I'm just going to put some double cream. And the double cream just really gives it that slightly tender crust. Sometimes you just need to work it a little bit. If the butter and the cream cheese are very cold, you just need to help it along. But I think it's looking pretty good.
Wonderful, that looks good. Good start.
This feels really just a great temperature to me. It feels like it's coming together without being too soft. With the savory galette, I'm going to roll it into one round pastry. And then we're going to kind of have, one large galette to slice. This one I want to make individual. But I want to keep the rusticity of it. So what I'm going to do is roll it into a cylinder. And you can see it's supple enough to roll. It's not cracking too much, and it's not too soft either. So what's important about this pastry for me is getting that length right. Do you want it to be 16? And it's exactly 16.
Perfect.
I don't know how that happened. I tell you why that's important, because we're going to make 8 individual galettes. That's 16, which means I need to cut it at 2 centimeter intervals.
Right.
And that gives me 8 even discs, and then I'm going to roll them out. Beautiful. But first of all, let's pop that in the fridge. Pastry's always better if you just give it a little rest in the fridge. It just helps the gluten in the flour relax. And now we get to the fun part. What I'm going to do is pulverize the chrysanthemum leaves. So I'm going to pulverize that into a powder. I mean, it's not the most appealing color. It's sort of khaki, but I'm kind of like just lean into it, So once we have that, I'm going to add sugar to that. That's now chrysanthemum sugar, okay? Once you have the chrysanthemum sugar, I want to divide it into 2. Some of it will go into the apricots, and some of it is going to go to the almond frangipani cream. 65 grams of that is going to go to a bowl in which you're going to put the apricots. Now, we only need 24. Yes, you can use tin ones. I think these have a bit more sort of texture.
Yeah.
So here we've got the chrysanthemum sugar, the apricots, and corn flour. The corn flour, what that does is that when the apricots release the juices, the corn flour makes it not runny. This is 30 mils of lemon juice. And then you just want to macerate it to encourage the mingling of the apricot juices and the chrysanthemum.
And how long might you leave this for?
Oh, anywhere between 10 minutes and an hour.
Yeah.
So it looks very unsightly right now, but just let it do its work.
But it smells good, and the smell of
Yeah,
fresh
it
lemon is just
smells
always
so
so beautiful,
good.
isn't it? It smells really good.
So we're going to put that aside.
Wonderful.
And then we're going to make the almond frangipani cream.
Yes.
That goes into the base of the pastry on which the apricots sit. Frangipani cream obviously starts with butter and sugar. We're looking for, I guess the French would call it en pommade, which is kind of face cream. Right? So as soft as face cream. We're going to put the egg in. There we go.
Lovely.
So it's going to look pretty unsightly for a bit, but it will come together. Okay, it's coming together.
Well done.
I mean, I'm evangelical about the consistency of butter.
Right.
It makes the difference between a cake rising or not rising. If the butter is too hard when you're creaming butter for a cake, you're not going to get that lift, that lightness.
Yep.
So this is ground almonds. So this is actually perfect. Now we are going to get the pastry out.
Yes.
And start rolling
Sweet
it out.
pastry.
Okay. I'm going to roll this out. It's perfect. It's not too firm that it's going to be brittle when I roll it, and it's not too soft that it's going to go out of shape. Okay, so I'm going to mark it at 2 centimeter intervals. Remember, it's a galette. It means rustic. And then I'm going to slice them into discs. Doesn't matter if they not exactly the same. It really is part of the charm of a galette, that they're all going to be individual. So we're going to roll them into roughly 16 to 18 centimeter thickness. So it's not really perfectly round, but don't worry. I'm pretty sure that's kind of 18 centimeters.
So when you were writing the book, did you find that most of the recipes were just things that you've had in your back catalogue for ages, or were you researching new things?
I think the ideas were in the back catalogue, and obviously things that I'd cooked for people. But to publish a book, you know, you've got to make sure that everything works. And even though I had the ideas all there was a lot of testing and retesting to make sure that the cakes are foolproof, basically.
Yeah.
Now we've got the 2 rolled out. You can see they're slightly different sizes, and I'm not worried. We are going to put about 30 grams of the frangipani cream. That's about 30
Will it
grams.
spread a bit in the oven, or do you need to be quite careful about where you put it?
It won't matter if it spreads. It will spread a little bit. It will cook, but there's an egg in there, remember?
Yeah.
And that egg will just bind everything nicely together.
Yeah, lovely.
So this is now macerating, and you can see it looks pretty unsightly for now. But what we want to do is put 3, and then you're just going to lift the pastry up and over and kind of pleat it as you go. What I'm doing is egg washing it just to make sure that it comes up really golden and beautiful. So then to amplify that texture, what I want is some Demerara sugar. I think Demerara is kind of golden. It's got a slightly larger crystal, which I think gives it a really nice texture. Right. So that's in the oven.
Ready to go in the oven. And what temperature does that go in?
Oh, it goes in 190.
Lovely.
I think pastries need quite a high temperature. You want it to brown and you want it to crisp. And then
we're going to magically produce
the one I made only half an hour ago, actually.
Yep.
So,
and here they are. They just look so beautiful. You can see how it's all sort of sunk and come together.
And it's light. It's really light.
Beautiful.
Shall we break one
open?
open?
Yes, please. Yeah, lucky us. Oh, yeah.
All right. So you've got the apricots are just softened. They're not entirely collapsed. You've got that layer of frangipani, and look at the crust on that pastry. I'm going to eat it.
I think so. How delightful.
I'm going to push on with my savory.
I know we've got to carry on cooking, but oh my goodness, what a treat.
Really delicious.
Completely gorgeous.
What I love about this pastry, it only has a little bit of wholemeal flour, but it really makes a difference to the nutty flavour. You'll see it in just the way it looks and the way it tastes.
So it just gives it that extra sort of texture and flavour.
Yeah. And the flavour. That's plain flour, and then 70 grams of wholemeal flour, some salt, and Parmesan cheese. And the Parmesan just means that if you get a bit of galette that's heavy on the pastry, it's still tasty. I'm going to put some pepper in there too. So again, just pulse to mix the ingredients.
Yep.
This is nice and crumbly, and then you want to bring it together. To bring it together for this one, I'm going to have ice cold water and milk. And I'm going to add a squeeze of lemon.
So does the acid react in some way?
The acid kind of breaks down the gluten.
Right, okay.
And the milk sort of tenderizes it. So you see, it hasn't quite come together, and I'm going to bring it together. I did several different versions of this recipe to see the optimal level of the whole wheat flour, because you want it to taste nutty and you want a bit of that texture, but you don't want to be working hard to eat it. And so we're just going to chill this dough. It's actually a really nice temperature, but we're just going to chill that. So this is the wholemeal pastry. And always use the minimum amount of flour. You've gone to the trouble to make this beautiful tender pastry. Let's make it cardboardy with lots and lots of flour.
Traditionally, would resting a pastry be so that it comes together? If you don't need to rest it for so long, is it a myth that a pastry needs to be so cold? Or
It's
is it
not
just
a
different
myth.
recipes?
It's not a myth. If you're making puff pastry, resting it and helping the dough relax is super important because it has so many rolls and turns. But for me, the chilling is about getting the right consistency in the pastry.
Right.
That's for me, because if it's too hard, it's going to crack when you roll it. And if it's too soft, it'll be turned into a sticky mess.
Right.
This one, I want about 40 centimetres. Do you think this is 40 centimetres? I need to check with my trusty measuring tape. 40 centimetres.
Helen,
Let's see if it's 40.
Well, that is actually
How
perfect.
did that happen?
Okay, look, and you're moving that so easily.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful
just
pastry.
such a lovely way to
that
move
milk
it.
and that lemon juice, everything.
yes.
So let's prepare the filling for this. The base of it is a ricotta with mashed anchovies and some lemon zest. Now I'm going to use 2/3 of it. So then you just want to spread that. This just sort of gives it a flavorful base. We've sauteed some onions, thinly sliced onions. We're going to add some chili. You've got Aleppo pepper, so I'm going to be quite generous with that because Aleppo is quite mild, right?
Yes.
I like a spicy chili because of the olives and the anchovies. I like a good kick. And then thyme. There's also some garlic in here, crushed garlic, 2 cloves. And then you're just going to scatter this.
And we cooked these before we started, so they've cooled down. But do you think it's best to leave them to cool, or could you do it? when
Yes,
it's
you
still
do
warm?
need it cool, otherwise it's going to soften your pastry.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of onions, but remember, it's a lot of pastry as well.
It is a lot of pastry.
Yeah, but it serves 8. Okay, let's just spread that out. I'm going to scatter tomatoes on it. I mean, we're really conjuring summer today, aren't we?
Look
with this
how
cold
pretty
weather.
it looks. Yeah, it's lovely.
So you're leaving about a 5 centimetre perimeter because that's going to be the part that you fold over. I still want the part under that fold over to be tasty. This is Kalamata olives, capers and parsley. And the half of it is going to go just on the perimeter here. So again, like before, folding and pleating. You see, I'm not bothered about that rustic edge here.
The pastry has got that elasticity that it just stays up. It doesn't flop back again. And as a pastry chef, you really need an egg wash to hand at all times.
Yeah, exactly. And this just makes it gorgeous and golden.
And does it also go in at 190 to the oven?
Yes, it does.
Yep.
Yeah. And this one cooks for 45 to 50 minutes.
Okay, so quite a long time.
Yeah. Well, you want, for me, there's nothing worse than undercooked pastry.
Quite.
I can't bear it. You remember that I only used 2/3 of the ricotta in the base, and that's because what I want to do with the remaining is to put in little dollops, because that just gives you really creamy pops when it's in the oven. Okay, now we can cook it.
Put them in the oven.
Yes, please. And then we can bring out the one I made earlier.
Ta-da!
This is going to be like the fresh salsa that
Beautiful.
goes with it. So a bit of olive oil. Just before serving, you just pop it on.
Beautiful. Thanks so much. That was just so wonderful. For more recipes, hit subscribe on our YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram at Sous Chef UK or Helen at Helen Go Bakes on Instagram.